raise my eyes to the wild yonder. Can't believe what I raise my eyes to the wild yonder. And it makes me wonder what's falling down. And it makes me wonder the sky, what's falling down.
I don't know what the feedback's coming from, but I'm sorry about it. All right, I think I solved the problem there. All right, greetings everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. Lots of things going on everywhere. I hope you stay posted on the news. No clue, but I have no clue what's going on with this stuff. But all right, you know, when you don't want anybody to bother you, that's when everybody calls you. That's how life is, right? So there's multiple topics I want to get into, but I just want to get into a few things real fast. Today, the earthquake chart was definitely weird. The Ring of Fire wasn't as bad, but if you go across Turkey and Iraq, there's a whole stream of earthquakes going straight across. Kind of bizarre. Never saw it like that before. Who the fuck? Get out of here. Dennis Wood. I don't know Dennis Wood. So, twice in a row. Who is that? But let's get started with this. There's something I found out about chemtrails recently, and it's really dangerous. And it's information, you need to pass it on, you need to tell other people, and you need to check out the information for yourself and find out as much as you can about it. A whistleblower came out, kind of believe the story because I followed that for 20 years already. I was friends with Michael Murphy, who was the first person to do movies on it 20 years ago. What in the world are they spraying and why are they spraying? We traveled around the country to find facts and try to talk to people, government. Not one person in any government he went to would talk to him about it. So that's how much of a cover-up it is, which should be an eye-opener for most people, but people that don't want to get involved, that really don't care, well, that's your problem, but it is a world problem right now. Now, the information is this. I don't know, you hear people saying they stopped spraying chemtrails or they're not spraying them as much. Here in Hawaii, they spray every couple of days. Now, there's something you'll notice about a chemtrail when you're looking at the sky. You'll see these streams.
Tom, you're getting audio interference.
From what? What kind of interference? You can't hear me?
I think it's from your phone.
It shouldn't be my phone, but I don't know if that helped any.
Okay, yeah, it's gone.
Really? So maybe they're monitoring my phone right now. But here's the thing. All right, when you see chemtrails in the sky, you'll see straight lines, and they go pretty long across the sky. They don't disappear. And what happens in time, they spread out. When they hit clouds, they spread into the cloud. They multiply by 100 times. Each cell of that chemtrail spreads that wide and actually becomes a giant cloud that forms another cloud. But inside those clouds, I think everybody knows there's chemicals in there and metals. But the newest thing is they're going to add more chemicals, and they're changing what it consists of so you won't be able to see it. And that's going to be a serious problem because then everybody say, oh, they stopped spraying chemtrails, and nobody will care about it again. All right. Russia admitted, or somebody in the government that worked for them said that Russia shot down 3 chemtrail planes already. He refuses to let anybody spray chemtrails over Russia. He's all for global warming. So there's a lot of serious things going on with that. So I want you to check your information. Stay on top of it. They didn't stop spraying. Trump's not going to end them anytime soon. And you really need to know the effects on what happens to the body from the metals inside. They do go straight to your brain. The chemicals destroy your body. Now we got this virus spreading and spreading and spreading. So my partner asked me to get face masks. I got to order them today. A lot of places are out of them. You're not even going to be able to get a face mask. And I guess that's another plan. I mean, Trump's buying hats. He should be buying face masks for everybody.
As a side note, Tommy, and for those people also who are buying masks, there's a common misconception that N95 masks will block out the virus. It will not. So just something to think about when you're purchasing masks, because the popular ones now are the N95s, and those will not block out a virus.
Oh, well, that message was about a house call, but no problem. All right, here's what we're going to do. I got a lot of information to get through, but I want everybody out there to do some research. And you have to do it for yourself because you might not believe anybody else. There's kits you can buy. The kit's probably about $50. You can measure it yourself, see what kind of contamination's coming down in it. I don't think it can monitor or check for everything that's in it, but it'll check for some things, and it'll tell you if there's metals in there and different things like that. Now, their plans are they're going to change. They're changing the weather. People understand that. What they're going to do is cause serious problems on the ground. It's affecting all plant life, and it's affecting the water. So that would mean they're going to try to cause serious problems in California and Texas. They're going to try to create droughts as well. Oh, man. This is the worst. I'm just saying that. They're going to try to cause serious problems. Now, with the chemicals being initiated, this virus being initiated, we better start waking up to what's going to happen to the planet real soon. Trump's not dealing with it at any level. Nobody else is talking mainstream except the news that gets some information passed down what China's saying. They're trying to blame G5 when the new
5G.
5G comes out. It'll be affecting a lot of people as well. But they're trying to say it mixes with the China's chemical biological warfare. We could believe the stories, but you got to look at reality. Who created this virus? Why is China letting it destroy China? Now it's affecting a couple other countries. It will spread. It will become worldwide. Now, the only thing I could say about that, it was created in Canada and brought to China. And they worked on it for 2 years. So I will tell you this, there is an antidote for it. But who has it and who's going to release it? I can tell you we have the antidote inside the United States somewhere. And whoever is going to release it, if they're going to release it, when they're going to release it, maybe they'll wait till the end times and then they'll release it to save a few people. Who knows what they're going to do? They say it's not going to get that bad. They're saying maybe it'll take out 3% of the world. Well, it's moving rapidly. It's not dying down. The numbers that we have gone up in the past month is extremely crazy. So if you're ready to deal with that, please do. I'm dealing with it at so many levels. My friend has a ticket to go to India, but it was supposed to stop in China. I mean, canceling tickets and playing all these kind of games right now is crazy. Because companies are going to start falling apart and breaking down. In China, I don't know how these companies are going to survive. These people can't walk the streets. They can't go to the store whenever they want. You're talking millions and millions of people locked down. So it's a serious problem, whether you want to hear the news or not, whether you listen to the TV or radio. Some of it has to be real. Maybe it's all not real, but something's going on and people are dying. And you should be thinking about that.
Bruce McDonald says hi.
Oh, he's in. I didn't see it. Well, greetings. Hi, how are you? But I want to say, now we have another problem. Now, it's called the UN Agenda 21. All right. See, these are the things that are going on as the Trump trying to play his games and everybody else is trying to get elected and all the bull stories that are out there right now. The truth is that agenda was created about maybe, 2020, about 14 years ago. 159 countries agreed on Agenda 21. Read it. Find out what it is. There's one woman who worked on it, actually did all the work for the government on that. Basically, they're buying land, taking it away from people, pushing people into cities so they can control them, and then they can control the water, the weather, everything else as well. So become aware of what's going on. Trump has nothing to do with that. And I'm sure he's in the back and he has no idea what's going on. The whole UFO world is coming into a new phase where people are going to see everything and start seeing other things. But the truth about it is so far from becoming public. Now, sure, people are saying they saw ships, they saw aliens, they work with aliens, work with ships, and were on ships and all that. But here's the thing. Not one shred of proof of anything positive, anything good, or anything they really did came out. You would think in the past 75 years, we might have seen something really important. I mean, I was with Sergeant 18. We shot more pictures of every kind of ship and alien than anybody else in the United States. And nobody seemed to care. And we were showing them since 97. And people really didn't even want to know about aliens in that time frame. Yeah, there was UFO conferences, but they were small. They didn't have lots of people. And they all weren't making money. The money end of this has escalated to a point where all these people are just concerned about the money, not about giving people false ideas, false truth, delusionary truth. I'm going to bring some names into this, and I'm ready to debate these people. They want to go public or not. I'm sure they don't, because most people that are making money don't want to lose it. And if these people go public and their story gets twisted or closed down or shut down, obviously, hopefully, people might not want to do it or listen to them anymore. But the biggest people right now making the most money are everybody from Ancient Aliens. Just so you know, people, when you pay to go to that conference, guess where most of that money goes? To those people. Now, if you watch Ancient Aliens, you're not going to hear anything different from these people when you see them. So to give them $20,000 to speak for 2 hours, I think it's a little crazy. And I mean, sure, I think they might have dinner with them on a Friday night. So you want to sit down and spend another $100 just to eat with them, that's your choice. But think about why you're going to a UFO conference. If you just want to spend money, have fun, and whatever, that's cool. But if you're going there to learn something, to become an aware of something, you're going to the wrong place and you're listening to the wrong people. Now, I used to lecture at them with Sergeant 18. And when we did, I met all the cool people in the UFO world. Sadly, most of them are dead. A few of the people I know are in prison, in a nut house, or just plain disappeared. So, I mean, I can go into that, but not today. People, you got questions, please send them in, call in, write in, and then we'll do a show on it, because there's some topics that I don't feel is really as important. I'm setting up to do a debate real soon with anybody that wants to talk about specific topics. But the names I'm going to get in today are the biggest names out there in the spiritual world, religious world, whatever words you want to call them. But I call them the delusionary worlds. So with that, we're going to move a little bit different. I mean, I tried to keep an idea of what I wanted to talk about today so I don't get too far off mainstream. All right. After we deal with chemtrails, which you need to do, we got to deal with fracking and HAARP, HAARP, which is connection to chemtrails. So do the work. Find out the truth for yourself. But we have a serious problem. Nobody talks about it in the UFO world because they came out with a new word called experiencers. People delusional, saying they had the experience with aliens. They have zero proof. Not one of them has any proof. All right. And here's what happens when it comes out into the real world. The story sounds incredible. And you're saying if it sounds too real, it's too crazy, it's probably crazy. If somebody says, oh, if you call this number, you get $1 million, and you believe that, guess what? So here's the thing. There's experiences coming out by the hundreds. A lot of them are getting to the lecture scene, telling their stories. People are believing it. Now, whistleblowers are the big name for people coming out with their truth. Now, where did they come from? Were they really in the service? I'll start at the beginning. Stephen Greer, who came out as the big famous person to bring out disclosure. I was doing lecturing when he first started. One of my people, who is a good friend of mine, he was a bodyguard for some really famous person during the conferences, and he did all the research on Stephen Greer. He was supposed to be a doctor. He worked in all these hospitals. He tried to pull up information on any of that and found nothing. So all of a sudden, Stephen Greer has a lot of money. And suddenly he's talking about disclosure. And now his life's being spent on disclosure. I could go into a few other names that did the same thing. But now I'm saying, look at the names out there right now doing lecturing and speaking. I mean, Corey Good with David Wilcock and people like that. What they're saying the world's going to come to an end soon. So listen to them if you want to. The world will only be taken out by one thing, and it's not any alien race, and it's not our government. People may believe we can. I know we could destroy the planet if we were allowed to, and that's not going to happen. The creator of it will decide when we can destroy it, if we're going to be able to destroy it, or it will destroy it. No other way will that go down. Lucifer is in the higher world, other than not down here. Satan's down here. He has control of almost everybody here. Especially, people that are open to stories and fantasies and make-believe and dreams and everything else that comes in their life. Now, I'm going to go into a specific name. I'm going to jump around a little bit. I'm trying to keep up with what I want to say. There's two famous speakers considered the number 2 people in the world as the top spiritual people. I'm going to say 5 of them, so you can see where these 2 come from. They say the Pope, the Dalai Lama. Then you got Eckhart Tolle and Deepak Chopra. All right. They even put Oprah in the top 10, but they are the biggest speakers out there mainstream. I'm sure they're making up to the billion dollar mark already. And what they're saying is complete mind programming. Now, you go into the new age world where all these so-called speakers are coming from, and listen to what they say. All right. They talk about, here's these things you have to think for yourself. I can't prove them to you. For yourself. These are things you have to prove for yourself. Universal consciousness. Buddha talked about oneness and the bliss state. It is a state that you can attain. All right. The bliss state is a cool space to go into for a short period of time. You can stay in there for thousands of years, or you can stay in there forever. All right. That's one thing to think about. Now, what was that?
Is it a dimension, or is it what is the bliss state considered?
Okay. I don't know if anybody considered it anything other than the alternate reality of all things. The same as the word that the New Age people use, and a lot of so-called spiritual people, and UFO people. The oneness, all right? Becoming one with everything. Universal consciousness, all right? You're talking about a consciousness, not a dimension, not a realm, but a consciousness. Now, Buddha had his own concept of consciousness, which reflects mind. Mind, to me, and the truth is, whether you want to find it or look for it or not, is not the same. Mind is part of the brain, the thinking and everything that it stores and comes out of it. When something different comes out of the brain, it comes from soul. Soul's awareness, soul's consciousness, what it is separate than the mind. The mind has a programmed consciousness where soul doesn't. The mind only says what it's taught. When soul opens up or an entity steps inside a person, then different things can come out. when somebody starts talking in tongue, or somebody starts channeling an entity or a being or spirit, it's allowing that consciousness to step into theirs. Two consciousnesses don't run at the same time. One of them's got to step down, all right, while the other one does what it needs to do. If a person's weak, which is the biggest percentage of the planet, cannot stop it. So the demons, entities, and aliens all have full play in this reality.
Is the weakness attributed to lack of knowledge, or is it something else?
Well, that's a good word. Knowledge. Whose knowledge? Knowledge man creates. Whether it's real or not is still debatable and open for discussion, but it's not provable. Every fact about time is assumed time. All right, when they said when the Earth was created, the Big Bang, I mean, all those things are just ideas and theories. They're basing it on the simplest things called carbon. I mean, carbon is in everything. How old is the carbon? What machine could tell you 2 trillion years ago carbon was another planet, and it blew up, became this planet? The idea of carbon telling you a time frame. Well, Jesus was born, Buddha was born, the carbon dating of what? The trees, the mountain. Now, basically, they determine by the levels of the dirt what was going on the planet during that time frame. If they only dug down a half a mile, they only know the time frame for that half a mile. Or when the city gets flooded, now it changes the whole time frame again, because the water is not going to leave levels of time. So when when the ice changes, or the heat waves come in and everything changes again, it's hard to determine that. Trees, they count the rings. For every ring is a year a tree lives. All right, now that's based on what? Our knowledge of our time frame? Of course it is. Now, if you ever looked at a tree and the rings, sometimes it's like an inch space between the two rings, or sometimes like it's a quarter inch. So that means the weather changed within 6 months or a year, rather than a year's time of it. So they're determining that it's still created by scientists and theories. Now, life is based on theories. Conspiracy theories only mean theories that most people don't accept, not that they're not real. So when people say, well, that's a conspiracy theory, everything's a conspiracy theory until people accept it, then it becomes a theory. It doesn't become proven. Sure, we can prove now we were born at a certain date and a certain time, right? And those things are recorded now. And we go back in history, go back as far as you want. What was doing the recording? Who cared about what time a person was born, what they were born in, or anything like that? When we have civilizations going past day one, going backwards, and people did not understand relationships, they didn't have a concept of love. So what kind of theories were men playing with? Go to the beginning. Go back as far as you can. The first religion, real religion on this planet, was Hinduism. Now, Hinduism came from deities. Do people even have a clue what a deity is? And I'll tell you this for what I know. 90%, 99%, 98%, somewhere in between there, of Indian people have no clue what a deity really is. Sure, you create a statue, you create a tanka, you stare at it, and you pray to it. You think with prayers, things would change. People that pray all the time believe things change. Things don't change because of prayer. You know, if you ask everybody on this planet, I'd say at least 80% of them would say they want world peace. All right? Maybe more, maybe a little bit less, but I don't think it would be like 20%. Then you say, well, everybody wants everybody to love each other. I guess you could say at least 50% of people would want that as well. But look at the statistics, look at what's happening in society. None of those numbers even come close to what's happening to the world. If people even understood the word compassion. What's a compassionate person? I have to use phrases that I know relate to what's happening. One of them has to do with money. Money is the root to all evil. Whoever said that, the first person to actually say that was right on. But when Jesus said it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven, he was right on with that statement. He said it many times. I'll go into that if somebody wants to go deeper into the religious part of it, which we might do a little bit later. But let's say with this mid-range of being a universal person. Let's start there. You want to become one with the universe. Think about it. Think what that really means. One with a universe. Okay? Why? Why would you want to? First question. Why would you want to be part of everybody else's consciousness? What would be a good reason for that to happen? There is none. So when you say, I'm going to be one with the universe, what are you saying? You want to be one with the assholes? You want to be one with the sick, evil people? Oh, I want to be with the loving people? Which loving people? Mm-hmm. Oh, the compassionate people. Where are they? So when you say that, these people don't even reflect on what they say or think they are. Well, I'm a healer. I'm spiritual. What's spiritual mean to them? I heal you. Heal me of what? Your sickness. What's a sickness? It's a problem with inside the consciousness of a being. Everybody has their karma, which is another word which is really important. When you combine that with sickness, disease, and problems in your life, it fits together. Oh, no, it doesn't. I got a lot more problems. No. Now, I'm going to get into a name, but and this is why. When you talk about reincarnation, if you became one with the conscious and universal consciousness, there'd be no reason to reincarnate, would there? Because when you reincarnate, 99.9% of people come back to this planet without any awareness of all their other lifetimes. Yes, they can touch small parts of it. All right. Now it's starting to grow a little bit greater today, where people would be experiencing bigger parts of that consciousness, of their reality, of who they were in other lifetimes. Now, let's take it further. Reincarnating, you live here for no longer than 125 years in the physical reality, in the physical world. When you were an alien or when you were something else, there was different time frames for that as well. Very few people go further back than that, or even try to. I mean, well, I want to understand the first time I came here. Well, the first time you came here as a human. You didn't come here as a butterfly. You didn't come here as a toad. You can believe that if you want. Life just got started. It didn't mold. Cavemen disappeared. All the people they say we came from all disappeared. We didn't come from that. You can say God was playing with life forms and created dinosaurs. Hey, they don't work. Or different creatures, entities, and all those things. And said, well, it's not the right way to go. But when he created the human race, he says, I'm going to give you everything I possibly can to create and become the best you want and can, which nobody heard or listens to. We have the ability to stop every bad, negative thing we're creating on this planet. We have the ability to stop the weather control that we're doing, and hurting and murder and rape and all those things. Passing real laws, not fake laws. We say we protect who? The whole? No, they protect the rich people. All the laws were created for them, not the poor. The 10 Commandments weren't based on how rich a person was. If you don't even know what the 10 Commandments are, read them. They don't hurt anybody. And if you listen to them, you can't hurt people. You can't kill people. So they're not really half as bad as people were. They're programmed ideas. We outgrew them. We outgrew killing? No, we didn't. We're more killers now than we ever were. So where do we draw the limits on laws? We don't. Rich people can change the law at any given time. I might go into that a little bit. Now, I want to put a name into this picture who I already mentioned. All right, I'm going to start with Eckhart Tolle. Do anybody know who he is? You might. He became famous because Oprah took his book and did a 21-day workshop online. She was the first person to do that. I bought the book and I followed it for 21 days. Go ahead.
Tinfoil Hatter's got a question. Have you heard of a Deagle?
I can't say I did. Is he, well, if you want to write in there what he is, who he is, or what about him, here's the thing. This person, Eckhart Tolle, became famous doing this 21-day workshop, and Oprah did a couple more with him every so often, and then she started bringing Deepak Chopra in. Now, he's super famous, super recognized, but listen to what he says. I don't have to put down every word he says. You just need to listen to him. Try to realize what he's telling you. This is a person, and I'm telling you straight out the truth. I don't lie for no reason. I mean, I don't lie, period. I mean, I don't have a reason to lie either. Now, here's a person. Never died in this lifetime and came back. Never had an out-of-body experience with angels. Doesn't understand at any level the word reincarnation. He's out there teaching about those words, saying multiple things of whatever. I mean, 2 years ago, Oprah asked him, what does death mean? And here's what the great spiritual person said. Well, I don't know much about it. My mother died. Oh, really? That's what he knows about death? So, knowing somebody died makes you an authority or a spokesperson on death. In his mind, it does. But now I just listened to him, so it's out there right now, his idea of reincarnation. And he opens this thing up for questions like I do. I would challenge him in a split second, and I do all the time, but he doesn't have the balls to do it. But here's the thing. All right, he's out there saying what reincarnation means. It has nothing to do with past lives, really, in his mind. It has nothing to do with future or past, things like that. It has to do with focus and thought. Well, if I focus a thought on something and concentrate on it, it becomes my new reality. So his reincarnation is into a new thought form. And you can blow that away real simple. You can think about flying with wings. Now, what's that do to this reality? Absolutely nothing. Is it going to change you and grow wings on you? You're going to fly away? Of course not. So he went on, and I listened to it. I was listening to him on my cell phone while I was walking, so I couldn't even write letters back in the chat room or underneath his link. But I will today, later. But when somebody talks about an experience they didn't have, that's delusional. When you describe other people's feelings, you don't know what they are.
Well, it's the same idea as getting in a car with someone who's never driven before. Is like, I don't want to,
Well, that's like a really bad thing, right? Yeah. Why would you want to be with a person that's going to trying to do something that he could get along. He could probably start the car. He could smash it in reverse. He could go forward. But reincarnation, very few souls have the ability to talk about it if they didn't experience it. You can go into another lifetime and describe it and explain it and prove facts about it. So it's a holy concept that Buddha brought out. Hindu people worshipped it and idolized the words and used it. But there's a limitation to that as well. When you reincarnate, there's levels a person goes through. Each level is a different reality for soul in itself. Has nothing to do with the mind at all. So when we talk about when you reincarnate, reincarnation usually means coming back here. But in the interim, when your body dies, you go to the next realm. In that period of time, soul starts to see something greater than this reality. But I use a lot of words, attachment, which brings men back to here because they're more ingrained with, oh, my family, oh, my cat, oh, my dog, oh, this, that. Not that you can get back into the exact same time frame, because you usually stay in the astral plane anywhere from 5 to 10 years before you reincarnate. Some could stay longer, and it depends if you have good or bad karma, how long you can stay there. But most people, I stay there and watch people for a long period of time. I'm not talking days, I'm talking about years and years. Watching people come and go. And what happens is they come back into this reality. If they're so attached to a family, they're born into the next generations of their family's son or daughter. And I mean, you'll hear grandpas and grandmas and parents say, "Oh, he's doing what my grandfather used to do. Oh, my grandmother used to do that. Well, my mother used to do that." So you're going to hear the little waves coming from that make it real to a person. But that person that's going through that, well, because she recognized I do my grandfather's stuff, maybe I'll recognize I'm my grandfather. And it doesn't work like that. People aren't ready to dive into it enough to pull that information out, which they should. You need to know why you have karma, why you're here, what it means to get rid of karma, how you work karma out, and then deal with what's happening in this reality. It's not easy. I mean, the first thing everybody wants is a relationship. Outside of that, if they don't get a relationship, then they need a pet. If they don't have a pet and they don't have a relationship, guess where they go? The Marines and the Army. Because they love people like that. Now, I just found out all the people involved with the chemtrails.
Your audio keeps getting muffled.
I don't know what to do about that. I don't know why. I'm gonna. Is my voice too loud?
No.
All right, I made it a little louder. Let's see if that helps at all.
Okay.
All right. Now, people spraying chemtrails in these planes, most of them, 80% of them have no family. Because you have to think, if you had a family and you were going to spray chemicals over their house, what kind of consciousness do you have? Knowing that what you're doing is not good. So, again, I said, why are we here? Why do we think we're here? People think they need to help everybody else. I'm sure you all heard the phrase, you can't help nobody else until you can help yourself. But helping yourself means you don't have to help anybody else, which is contradictory. Well, you got to help everybody else. Do what? What is mankind helping mankind to do right now? Name one important thing. Create toys, create weapons, create planes and ships. Outside of that, children. What are they teaching their children? Nothing important.
I can only imagine how much karma those pilots are creating.
Well, they're not worried about it. They don't have anybody to worry about. I mean, and they probably have no clue where they're going to go because they're doing it.
Right.
The same as a murderer. I mean, after a person commits the first murder, it starts breaking down their inner awareness and everything else, meaning they really stop caring. Once you break down that wall between compassion and not compassion, you live a life in this realm called hell. And seriously, it's taken off. It's growing. I mean, it's breaking down the system at every level. The games children got to play or have to play or want to play are dangerous to their subconscious mind. The movies that they're seeing are dangerous. Now, an adult usually can look at a movie and say it's not real and enjoy it for that. Children, on the other hand, look at things and try to take it into reality. I mean, if they see Superman, oh, I want to be Superman when I grow old. I mean, they see superheroes. I want to be like that when I get old. And it's a natural thing for children. But see, children are programmed in a serious way where they don't know right from wrong. They're told lies. And then somewhere in the future, they're told that those lies aren't lies. They're not real at all. So a child, just so you understand what I'm saying, when a child's told about the Easter Bunny, I mean, Santa Claus and things like that they're real, and they believe it. I mean, children go into the rooms, the boogeyman's going to get me. All those little things impress in the consciousness, the same as sexual abuse does. And what I'm doing now, I'm fighting that. I'm working on that at a great level. My book's almost done. What's happening to the consciousness of women and children is scary. The percentages, they're online. I don't have to tell you because they're there if you want to know what the percentage of rape and abuse and all those things are. It's pathetic. It's sickening, disgusting. And the other part about it, it's still growing. Child slavery, parents that don't stop children from being abused, all those little things add up to why the world's crashing down. Now, I was going to talk about religions. I'm not going to go into in great detail. Please follow me. I like to mix everything together, as you see. But when certain religions, certain tribal people, I call every religion a tribe, but when they believe that it's okay for a man to have sex with a boy, what kind of perversion is that? Then the idea that, well, I have two girls, I have to kill one or sell one away. What kind of sickness is that? And these are sicknesses that exist today. So how can we move forward? Well, we're all going to be one. One what? Consciousness? Do you think a consciousness will ever agree on itself? You can't put 10 people together to agree. And when you want to put trillions and trillions in this ball of energy, I mean, not that it would do anything. Consciousness doesn't create. Consciousness isn't God. They believe it to be. But we can't stop simple things. Never mind, we're one little teeny ball in space. And there's trillions of those things out there everywhere you look. How do you think we can control that? We can't. So assuming we're going to be one consciousness of what? If you became a consciousness, you're giving up who and what you are. And that's the main thing I want to talk about right now. What are you? What do you think you are? Do you understand it? Do you have a way to understand what that really is? Can you look in the mirror and say, oh, I know what I am? What are you? Looking in the mirror at myself. And what's that mean? Nothing. So until you can add and put more facts together, will you ever understand much about yourself, never mind other people? So when you die, say you know you're going to die in a week. What are you doing that week? What's going to make you feel like, well, this is what I have to do in my last week of life? Spend all your money? Travel somewhere where you think and you never went? Think about it. Because when it comes time to that, you might not even have a week. You might not have a day. You might have an hour or 5 minutes before you die. So with that kind of time frame, are you prepared to face that? Are you willing to look at what's going to happen during that time? Oh, no, I don't want to think about death. I had a boss, he used to start shaking if he even thought about the word death. Actually started shaking. People want to know that they can live forever or trying to. And that's why they're creating these drugs to do that. People are afraid to die. The same as people think sickness is bad. Well, it's bad if you look at it as bad. But if you look at it as, well, I get to leave this planet sooner than I thought I would, is a different way to look at it. How many people look at it that way? To understand that. Now, I just want to check. I don't know. Nobody else came in the chat room? Just tinfoil hats there?
Just Bruce McDonald and Tinfoil Hatter.
Oh, all right. I'm going to bring up a couple names. I'm going to go back to that, but I just want to finish this whole idea about this. What are you when you look in the mirror? What are you really attaining while you're here? Happiness, bliss, are words that the human consciousness was programmed to believe are important. Let's go back just to show you a scenario of the caveman day. What do you think they felt and thought? Just go by the way they lived and how they lived. Not that we have facts of exactly how and what they felt and stuff, but sex was like, just like an animal. You grab a person and have sex. What you wanted to eat, you killed an animal and you ate it. It wasn't feelings, compassion for anything. You lived together. I mean, they slept together to keep their bodies warm, not because it felt good to be next to somebody they loved. So the concept of fighting for women and things like that. I'm not saying people don't fight over women, but In those days, you kill the person, you got their wife, the same as animals do. Or they just get beat down so bad and they leave. So when we talk about futuristic worlds and we're moving into this higher dimension, the word these people like to use, higher in what level? You're in a plane. You're, instead of a plane being 3,000 feet, now you're 100 miles in space. Really? Did anything change? Are you changed? Are you a better person now because you're higher? Well, these people are assuming that when we change dimensions, we'll be better. Better at what? Everybody says, well, when we're in sixth dimension, we won't need the body. Well, then you won't need to be here. See, people say, well, I'll be here and I'll be able to make things better. If you don't need your body, what can you make better here? Better toy robots or dummies or sex dolls to play with? What would you make better? Cleaner water? If you don't have to drink or eat, do you really care about any of that? The consciousness that we create is delusional. The idea of what we think we are and what we need and what? Getting back to the feelings and the emotions. People think living in happiness is important. And that's why I compared it to the cavemen. There was no feeling of happiness. Oh, you're starving and get something to eat. Well, I can eat. It's not happiness per se the way we want to perceive it now. Happiness now means everybody's happy with us. We're sharing love with each other. And it's a different kind of happiness. But is it real? If you go into a prison and you meet all these people, does it make you happy? Shake their hands and talk to them. Is that going to make you happy? You go into a hospital with all children and you shake their hands and stuff. It changes you. See, the conditioning of what we accept, mankind has accepted children being more important than adults. And I look at it the opposite way. And it's a horrible scenario, but if you were standing there, you, your wife, and your child, and this giant being came out and says, which one of you should I shoot? Sure, the right person, right spiritual person would say, shoot me. But it says you got a choice. One of you can live. You let the child live, you let your wife live. See, we always go save the children. Like when a boat's sinking, save the children first. Well, children can't do anything by themselves without somebody guiding them and helping them. The adults have to leave first. When you get married, you two are marrying, and you could have been together for 40 years before you had a child. A child comes into your life, and you're going to give your life up for your child. It sounds horrible, but that's the way you're programmed. In the old days, they sacrificed children more first and then the women later. So witchcraft was the same thing even. They sacrificed children. But children have the most energy, all right? But they don't have the best thinking. If they're not programmed and taught, I shouldn't use the word program, sorry about that, taught right, and no children are taught anything in this world right now, anything important. And that's why we're not growing. That's why we're still warring entity creatures. What spiritual thing does any family teach their child? To meditate is the closest you can come to something important. In your meditation, you can dream and fantasize and create illusions, delusions, whatever you want. How much of it is it real or not? What you take from that is what you can prove to yourself, and that's what you should take from that. If you can't prove it, it's not beneficial for you. I mean, seeing your past lives and knowing that they're real, or seeing your past lives and not knowing they're real, is a big difference. Because if you go to a psychic, they'll tell you, well, you were a king in this lifetime, you were a clown in that lifetime. Can you prove it? Does it help you? If you don't have the experience, it's useless. So what I do when I talk about every experience I had in my life and all my other past lives that I became aware of. I'm not reading books to get other people's idiotic ideas. Oh, it's real to them. A lot of things are real to people, but they don't prove it to themselves what it really means. Now, I'm going to take that a little bit further. When you leave your body, you take on your astral body. But you can leave your astral body and take on your next body. All right? And it has multiple bodies that it uses until it gets to its soul body, which is the original root foundation, where you always are if you can attain the awareness to be there. All right? At that moment, you can let go of all your other bodies because you don't need them anymore. But until you get there, they're still needed. And most people never make it past the astral plane, meaning their astral body. And I'm looking for people that have experience much greater than that. Oh, when I listen to people tell stories about the higher worlds, and I ask you to do the same. Go online. Look for people that said they experienced the higher worlds of God and they've made it to the soul plane in these different places. Listen to what they say. Take it in. Absorb what they're saying, and then decide if you believe them or not. Because when people have this great desire to become something or important, the story always gets better. A near-death experience isn't the greatest thing there is. Most people, what is it? You take lemons to make lemonade. You take what you get to make something that makes you feel better. So if you had an experience, you went to the mental plane, and you were there, what'd you get from that? Mind has to experience it itself to understand it. So when soul steps out of the body, when you're dying, and it's a death experience and you're coming back, comes back into the body, mind is still there. Now that mind has to translate what you just experienced. It's just like me telling you my experience. What do you understand about my experience? You don't, because the mind's limited to the 5 senses that it has. I mean, they're not the higher dimensional senses that you get in your astral body, mental body, etheric body, and all those other bodies you use. So I go out of my way to read anybody's death experience. And they're so similar, but simple-minded answers. I met my mother, met my grandmother, I met Jesus, I met God. And they were told to come back. If I ever get to talk to them, and I say, well, how about your experience when you had your death experience? Oh yeah, I could have stayed there, but I was told to come back. Nobody can tell you what to do. In the United States and on planet Earth, government can tell you what to do. But as a soul being, nobody can tell you what to do. I mean, once you get past the astral plane, you're given the greatest gifts that God could give you in that realm, which is 10 times different than what you get here. All right, I'll go back to Atlantis in a second, but when you get into the astral plane, you can't be killed. Nobody could cut your head off. Nobody could knock your brains and squish them and eat them and whatever, like they would do here. So it's so different, that space alone. So imagine you leave your body, you go somewhere, and all you're concerned about is seeing a person. What do you think you're seeing? Where do you think you are? Are you looking? Are you trying to experience where you are and what you're doing? What you can be doing if you stayed there? Very few people talk about that. Oh no, I was told I had to come back. I have children. I had this, or I saw, and we want to change here. You only change yourself, no matter where you are, whatever time frame you're in, whatever dimension you think you're going. You're only going to change yourself. You're not going to change the universal energy, which everybody talks about. Oh, you joined it. What did they get from you joining their consciousness? Oh, I know all about ant farms. I know how to grow potatoes. Really?
More perverted thinking.
Well, yeah. I know how to have sex with a rooster. I mean, really? That's really perverted. So how far can you go? Well, not far, because you don't experience, you're still programmed to the idea of this body and mind, its senses. But you don't have them there. You don't have real eyes. You don't have a real heart. You don't have a real brain. So to perceive that is showing you didn't experience where you went. So when the person comes back, well, I met Jesus, and he said I have to come back. Why? What was Jesus doing? Where was he? What was he wearing? I mean, we perceive people always the same way we're programmed to believe it. Jesus is always wearing white. And 99% of people that say they see Jesus, work with Jesus, he's wearing a white robe. Now, the Nordics are always in white as well, but they're 8 feet tall. But people assume that that's Jesus as well. Or they're good because they're wearing white. If you know anything about the inner worlds of masters, red, purple, black are powerful. And just because you're wearing white doesn't mean you're the most highest spiritual person there. And that's why a lot of the lamas don't wear white, they wear purple. I mean, the police wear black. Do you know why they wear black? Because it's the strongest energy. Black energy is the strongest here in hell.
So would you say that the main reason why most of the death experiences have the same stories is because of the programming in their brain?
They have such a limited programming. They're not. If you had experiences stepping out of your body already, it would be so much different. Hey, I'm out of my body. Oh, where am I? What can I do here? Not like, oh, my children are down there. I got to go back. No, it's focusing on soul. Soul doesn't need family. I mean, it doesn't live with family. And the idea of a soulmate, it works in the physical world or the astral plane. But even then, there's always a time to leave. Because two people can never attain the same level forever. In the physical world, it's easy to attain. Well, we can live in a house together, we eat together, we like the food, we like to travel, but when you let go of that, and you've got to do things now beyond that, creating abilities only come in the higher realms, the fifth level. I mean, in the mental plane, you're letting go of all the programmed ideas of here, but you can live in cities that are incredibly different in different ways. You don't need to eat, but you don't need the simple colors that we deal with here. I tried to explain this. In planet Earth, we got 4 primary colors. All the colors come from those primary colors. Imagine having 32 primary colors. We couldn't imagine the colors. Even a simple thing like that, the mind can't fathom. Because it's already programmed to 4 colors that it relates to, and it sees red. I mean, even when you go colorblind, you can't see purple, you can't see certain colors. It's already being blocked from that. And then when you ask a person, what color is that? We see and perceive colors differently. So when we talk about thoughts, and especially when we leave the body and we're into the next realm, and we're seeing things the mind can't fathom at any level. It can't fly, soul can. Can't travel from one point to another in a split second. Mind can't do that. It's soul that does it. So that's why those words, remote viewing and astral projection, are helpful to start you to understand the aspect of soul in a greater way, without the idea, well, if I get stabbed, I'm going to be bleeding, I'm going to die, or whatever. We have to go beyond that, because when your body dies, you're not dying. How many people truly understand what happens? Faith and believing something happens is so different. Now, something you know, if you can, you got close friends and they're dying, watch them die. Depending where they are, whatever spiritual level they're at, will show up in the way they die. Most people shake and different things happen. But you'll see other people smile and their eyes close, because they're already aware of going to the astral plane. There's things that manifest in our lives, and if we don't focus on them and learn what they are useless. Now, and I'll try to describe what other people don't realize. When an angel comes into this reality, an angel, a good angel, for a word, they come down with a message, usually for one person. And then it's given to that one person to create the reality here. So yes, you become an important person, one individual, which is not common. 98% of people on this planet are useless to God. Sorry, people, no matter what you think you're going to do, it's useless. You can't change hell into heaven. You could believe it, but look at reality. Look at the reality for the past 30,000 years of human consciousness. Did we make anything good?
No.
Oh, I can travel faster than I used to. I can have sex with a dummy and be happy. I mean, what do we do? We don't do anything.
We're creating more dangerous technology and pretty much slowly killing ourselves.
That's all we can do because we're not being aware, learning what awareness means, not learning what spiritual means, not understanding the truth behind it. And man, who wrote the definition in a dictionary, created an idea to be implanted in people. Sure, alien races helped do that. The Anunnaki were one, but then you have the reptilians. The Greys weren't implanting reality thoughts in us. I mean, now I would say a kind of a group effort between the government and alien races to program people is accepted. They can't learn why they really were abducted. They can't learn a lot of that. I deal with Tina on my show every Tuesday, who will be on tomorrow. She was being abducted since she was little. I mean, and there's a lot of things in her story that very few people can understand, want to hear, or could accept. But she has proof, a little more proof than most people in the UFO world out there. And the reason why I could talk the way I do, I was next to an alien. I was next to a Bigfoot. I was so close to a ship, and all those kind of things. I was around people many years ago when I first got pulled into the UFO world of women that lost their children and proved it in the hospital. So you have to think, why was all that washed away? There's nothing factual in this whole UFO realm that's coming out. Nothing beneficial to humans. Oh, well, they're going to teach us. Teach us what? Love is a good word, but if you don't understand it, it's a useless word. To say somebody can teach you. For mankind to say Jesus taught love, who did he teach it to? How many people understood what love was when he was supposedly teaching it to them? And what did that mean? In his lifetime, which was short, the people around him, they all got married. And then the Catholic religion forbid the priest to get married. Is that like a contradictory to reality? Because, you know, when they created the idea of Mary Magdalene, they had to take these horrible scenarios to make her bad. And because what they didn't want is men to recognize women as powerful in a good way. All right? Meaning like, oh, well, they're below us. The scenario of Adam and Eve had to enforce it upon man that man was here first. And how did man create a woman that was ripped out of his ribs? Really? So the scenario is, well, we're always better, and they came from us. It's like they gave birth to women. A stupid, sick scenario. But for people that accept that, men in general, accepted the idea that men are more important than women, always do, always did, always will. Sure, I'm different. I know you're different, Sasha. I mean, there's a couple people out there that know the difference and understand it, but they don't live by it. And if you go through history, which I did, I always pick certain events or meaning words like love and things and see when they started, who was the first person to talk about it. Now, do your own research. Find out when love was truly first mentioned and understood. You're going to find it wasn't. But for, I'd say, 29,000 years, love was not the root of everything. Sure, when somebody rewords something now, well, they were together, well, they loved each other. How do you know that? You know what love was? Did they know what love was? Yeah, my wife stays in the kitchen, cooks, goes out and do the field, picks the plants, comes home, cleans the animals, and I come home and eat. I mean,
Yeah,
that's love,
that's their programmed idea of love.
right? But they created it. See,
Yeah.
here's a simple thing that I learned. Whoever you deal with, the first thing you need to do is look them into their eyes. Look into their eyes really, and let them look into your eyes. You'll understand a lot about that person, their energy, who they are, and things like that. But see, people are so afraid of that. The native people were afraid of that completely. When the pictures came out, they were afraid they'd steal their souls, even.
Hmm.
That's how afraid they were. So, and people say, well, any religion on this planet is no better than any other one. Well, there's some a little bit better because they don't kill and rape and abuse. But if you're not looking for God, it's a useless path. You don't need a religion. You can pray to the wall, which was what I call the Jewish people do. Every Wednesday they kneel down and pray to the holy wall. That's the way I look at it. You can pray to whatever you want. Does it change reality? Muslims are going to plan on taking over the world. The African people plan on taking over the world. The ultimate goal. I remember I don't know what he was called of Africa, years ago said, we'll populate the United States to a point, and then we'll just be able to take it over. And I always wondered why, and this isn't a prejudice statement you might think it is. Black people are always stronger. They work on their bodies. They keep men do. They keep their body in shape. Because in their heart they're warriors. And they're ready to go to battle. Where white people in general like to eat, get fat, and lazy. Why? Because nothing's happening, everything's the same, No, see, tribal people live differently than society created for normal, quote normal people. You don't need to be a warrior, you don't need to have weapons, but now everybody needs to have a gun. But I go through that a lot, and I search history. I did a talk on this just recently. Guns. Well, it's our constitutional right. What's your constitutional right? To come in and kill the native people? Take away their constitution and make it yours? That was your right to do that? And then the right to bear arms and carry a gun. Okay, what was going on? I got the dates, they're not in front of me. When guns were when guns were used and everything. All right? Realize what they did, everybody had to have a gun to shoot a native person. And then the cowboy generation came out in 1886. Not 86. It was for 25 years, from I guess 75 to the 90s. But it lasted for years. But they all were carrying guns, shooting each other, and you just had to be fast at it. So think about why guns were okay in those days. Why you needed a gun. So in the present moment, why does a person need a gun? Well, if somebody breaks into my house, I'll shoot him. Or what about carrying a gun on the street? Well, if somebody jumps me, I'll shoot him. Well, who created that scenario? We are programmed to believe that defense and killing a person is the right way to go.
It's like an easy way of adding on more karma.
Exactly. And that's all they will do. But here's the thing. If all guns were stripped out of the United States, nobody was allowed to have a gun. If you were caught with a gun, you got 25 years in jail, period. You wouldn't think about carrying a gun around the street too easily unless you were ready to die for it. Right? That would cut crime in half. Now, the other half of that people don't realize, more people commit suicide with a gun than people get shot with a gun. Think about that. Take the guns away from everybody, people won't be committing suicide with guns. And that would be a good step right there, just that alone. All right.
Well, another thing I thought it was a good public service is when Richard Dean Anderson started the original MacGyver show. He was trying to give people the idea of other options than guns, because he promoted, uh, non-gun solutions to a problem.
Well, here's the thing. My book on it's going to be about rape and abuse and every aspect of it. In this world, you need defense. Whether you're old or young, you need a defense system. But a system that doesn't have to kill a person. I mean, a gun is a 50-50% chance you could kill a person instantly or not. Or just maim them, whatever.
Not to mention a taser.
Well, a taser is what I would say is one of the real defense systems people do need. All right? Between mace, tear gas, things like that, a siren alarm that goes off on your person, which they're selling a lot right now. They want every elder person to have one on them. You got this supersonic whistle blowing real loud. It wakes people up right away to look what's happening. A taser, I mean, some people got tased, they could die, but you get hit in the head with the punch, you could die as well. So, I mean, you need defense nowadays. And depending on what it is, to your ability, if you studied martial arts, it's a good sense to have abilities in that. Because then you don't really have to carry a weapon. But all these little things are much beneficial than having a shotgun with 500 shots in it to take on an army or whatever the story, these weapons are being created. Silencers are for what reason? Why would a person need a silencer? And they're selling them like hotcakes right now. Why?
Because they don't want to get caught.
They don't want to get caught shooting somebody.
Yeah.
That's a good scenario. So I'm not saying we don't need defense. We do need a defense system. And depending on your age and your ability is what that should be. But a gun, 45 revolver is not the solution. A gun with a silencer on it is not the solution. I mean, multiple shooting guns. I mean, if you get into a fight, how many people are you going to be able to shoot if it's in a fight? The same as in a home, you're not supposed to keep a gun loaded. Right there means if somebody broke into your house, there's a good chance they're going to grab you before you grab your gun and load it. So if you have a shocker or whatever right next to your bed, even a bug spray like what do they call that? Beehive stopper and things like that next to your bed. You can defend yourself against about 3 or 4 people. You hit them with that, they can't see.
Bear spray.
I mean, we don't have to kill people, which would help cut down on your karma. But if you decide to shoot everybody that's in your life you don't like and then bury them, guess what? Your karma builds up.
Yeah.
Nobody else can see it because you just bury it. I got rid of it. Well, I killed somebody. I dumped his body in the ocean, like the mob always did and things like that. But their karma doesn't disappear.
How many lives do you think that's on average you're adding on for like one murder?
Well, I would say look at the scenario of what it means.
Okay.
All right. I kill you.
All right.
All right. You just got married. Just had a child. All right. Now, that child can produce an offspring. But if I shot you and you weren't married, and you were supposed to get married, there's a chain of family that's not going to be here now.
Okay.
And those children would have had children. Those children would have had children. You're stopping a generation of reality. So if you kill 10 people, you killed the multiple reality that's going to come to this planet. Even going into the HARP system, the Philadelphia experiment, they killed somebody when they went back in time.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going back in time recently to try to rearrange what they did. And I'll tell you the facts on that if you want to hear a story. I'll do it maybe one day. But he was offered $4 million to go back to kill somebody else. Because the wrong people became powerful. Yeah. And if you search out the other thing about DNA and track how many people in politics, presidents, were actually related to other people in politics, it's humongous. And then to the present, all these famous actors are related to them as well. So it's kind of mind-boggling if you do the search and research on that. But again, getting back to when you kill somebody, you're creating karma that can go unlimited. I'm not saying if you killed somebody and they were going to become a mass murderer that, oh, it might have been a different kind of karma, but you don't know what that karma is for another person.
Yeah, true.
I mean, if somebody said, well, if I take Trump out, it'll save the world, that's karma, but is it beneficial? And I could go into the details, which I don't really want to do, but I'll say this. I was ready to do what I had to do, period. And if I knew God wanted me to do it, I would do it. And if you go to a psychiatrist, one of the first questions they'll ask you, do you hear God? And if you say yes, you're automatically screwed. So
You just fell into the program's trap.
exactly. Well, if God tells you to kill people, you're going to go out and kill people.
Yeah.
Is that what all religions do? Well, all religious wars are based on that. God told me. Moses took his people out to kill him. I mean, did he realize that? Not really, but he did. You bring people to a promised land where they have to kill people. That's all karma, but it has nothing to do with spiritual growth. And sadly to say, most religions don't. They fall short of the next step, meaning searching out God. If you're searching out ego, which most people do, we get very little down the road.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to just bring out today, getting back to these speakers out there, like Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, listen to them. Listen to what they're saying. Oh, we're not really here. We're not really here? So then how would karma be created if we're not really here? My dream was bad, so I created so much karma last night. Really? If you act out on your dream, make it a reality, guess what? It becomes karma. Go ahead.
Well, it seems to me like they're drooling over all the money they're making. They don't even know what the heck they're saying anymore.
Well, I think about people, like I'm thinking about trying, but I don't think he has a chance. Tom Steyer, whatever. He's running for president. He's a billionaire. All right. But I want to talk to him personally. I wouldn't go all the way until I talk to him personally. But he did say he wants to give over half of his money back before he dies. Whether he truly means that or not is a different story. He's been spending a lot of time, money to stop people from putting pipelines in and all that kind of work. He's been working at that for years now. Will he give back a percentage of that money? Really? If he became president, he's not going to be doing things for money. People that are geared to making money, like Trump, only look at ways to make money and save money, not about saving people. I mean, if Trump cared as much about people as he did money, the world would be a better place. It would be what he says. But as long as he puts the money over the people, well, we can save more money if we do this. We can save more money if we do that. Take away their medical, take away their food, take away everything. We can save more money. That's not the right way. And now people support him. He mentioned black schools. Did you ever hear any president mention Native American schools? Ever? Why not? In the United States, white men, in general, are afraid to use the word Native. I heard it a couple times, the Native people, but are they building schools? Do you know anything about Native schools in the United States? I do. Sad topic. Horrible. But until you're ready to do a little research for yourself, going out there, finding the truth, working to find the truth, and then proving it to yourself that it's really the truth. That's what life's about. Proving that you're a soul, that you won't die when your body dies. Without that knowledge, you're useless to yourself or to anybody else. Building a machine, building a cupcake that's super scrumptious, is that changing the world? What makes people happy? Happiness is the delusion because you're going to die, and on your dying bed, you're going to be smiling. Hey, I'm dying. I'm happy about it. No, you're not.
It's for me personally, it's weird now because like learning all this stuff and having started my spiritual journey, when I'm out with my friends, it feels fake because they're all about just happiness and trying to entertain themselves, and I don't see any value in that.
Well, I say it's a group of sports, but it all revolves around one thing: a ball. Football, baseball, hockey puck, whatever you want to call it, a ball.
I remember you did that
I
segment.
did that, right? But again, the money that's spent on that, taking away from life, families, and then where all the money these people make, even poor people, put their money to go see this person hit a golf ball or play tennis or whatever the sport is, basketball, football. The money spent, the money gambled on that.
You
All
can
right.
you can easily fix the homeless situation by diverting all the sports funds into the homeless situation.
Even half of it would take over the United States and get all the homeless people a home and place to live.
Right.
I mean, what was last year when those two boxers fought? Each one of them made $180 million to beat the other person up. It was a lousy fight for 10 rounds. They got paid more money for each round it lasted. So you think they were ready to knock each other out in the first round?
No,
Or would they want to?
it was
No, I'm
all
going
yeah, it was all planned out. It was a game. It's a game.
to get everything in life. I mean, if you look at the Matrix and watch it, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Until we want to step out of the Matrix. It's like taking the red pill or the white pill, whatever the color pills were. But when you want to step out of the game, it becomes real. But as long as you're in the game, you think it's real. What'd you put up? I see a black circle. I mean, black with a white circle.
Yep, I'm still here. I'm gonna turn some lights on.
Oh, all right. But all that money. And then we go to the movie world, movie actors. Somebody like, I'm not going to say names, makes how much in one show? Why? I mean, money is based on ego, what a person thinks they're worth or believes they're worth. What are people really worth? Probably not much at all. Well, the inventor of what? Free energy? Tesla? He was basically almost homeless, broke for the last 10 years of his life. So it didn't help him creating all the things he created for this world, or brought out. I use the word brought out to this world. But we have this programmed idea that sports, well, it takes my attention off of what? You have a problem with your wife or your husband, so you're going to watch football? I mean, your children are bugging you, so you lock them in their room and let them play a horrible game so you can watch football, baseball? I mean, the scenarios around it is not beneficial to anybody, except the people that are playing sports, get paid $10 million a year, go home in their house, and they sit back in the swimming pool drinking or whatever. Mm-hmm. Now, take away drinking from society.
There's going to be civil war.
Make it illegal, like the Largo, when they did that way back when. I mean, smoking marijuana was legal and drinking wasn't. Go back to making drinking illegal. Show you how people are drinking. What if you get caught drinking and all those things and you get fined and all that? But imagine what the world would become if people couldn't go out and drink. People can't let go of their consciousness, so they do drugs and drink.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, majority of the people just use that, as you've mentioned, as an escape from reality.
And that's sad.
Yeah.
I mean, we got beautiful children, and you'd rather them play on a computer game for hours than go out and take them for a hike up a mountain. Anything you can do in your area, or even travel a little bit. Go to a park, campground, create a fire, roast marshmallows. It's not hurting nobody. Yeah. Oh, we're making the atmosphere bad. No, we're not.
It's a vicious cycle. Like, the two couple, they're willing to have sex and create life, but once that life is here, they hardly pay attention to it.
Well, here's something. I mean, I'm going to kind of end the show because I feel right now most people think if they hear information that it's important. If I give you all the real important information, you would just go out and shoot yourself in the head with a gun. I mean, the truth out there is not good. If I gave you lies to make you happy, you'd be happy about it. But since you want, everybody wants a certain amount of truth. Well, you got to tell me what's really going on with it. No, you don't want to know. Do you want to know what the government's doing right now? Do you really? Oh, yes, we want disclosure. What do you think they're going to tell you in disclosure? That ships are flying above us? We all know that. Are they going to tell you what they have been doing with the aliens for the past 60 years? What they're doing on this planet? What they do to other humans? Are they going to tell you about the wars they really had? Do you want to hear that? Oh, yeah. Why? Is it going to help you think about aliens in good or bad? Does it care what you think about them? Do you think aliens care whether you like them or not?
I bet
Good.
one thing, I bet the aliens are not happy about us putting up more 5G satellites because it's going to make it harder for them to come in the atmosphere.
Well, just think, if they wipe out one satellite in space, it could knock out probably a whole city.
Yeah.
So if they want to play that game, which war is basically going to be about controlling the satellites, everything else right now. But
So you think it's a coincidence Trump started a space force?
No. See, that's not a coincidence. He didn't create anything. He created a bull story that he's using.
Yeah.
Like he always says, a Salem witch hunt. Does he know what a witch is? Does he know how they hunted them down and killed them?
Well,
Because they were different. Does Trump know he's different? Yeah, but is he different in a good way? We'll get back to the other part of that, what we started with. All right, we have these scenarios of what we believe. And when we talk about, okay, who's right, who's wrong, who's going to be doing this, what are we going to do? Let's go into the facts of what's happening with the government. Does anybody know what fracking is, really? How many people do? How many people know what a geothermal plant is? How many people even know what the word HARP is? And it's been here for how many years?
Yeah.
All right, and that's the most dangerous weapon on the planet. Now, the other word coming into play, which is just as dangerous, sun.
Does America have 5 or 6 HARP systems?
Well, we got 6, but we're going to create and move some of them.
Move them?
Yeah. You don't tell an enemy where your biggest weapon is.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
When it's the main target out in public, it's easy to find it. Now, something else I'm going to tell you, and you're going to have to dig first. I'm not going to give you the names of everybody because people are on the run right now.
Mm-hmm.
The United States is building cities out in the ocean as well as China is.
Mm-hmm.
But they're underground, under the ocean. Think about that. What's that mean? Guess what? Nobody's going to know.
Yeah.
And they're not going to tell nobody where they are, what they're doing. I mean, satellites are trying to create better sonic energy. Just as they released, Hawaii is going to put up a radar system within the next 5 years.
Is that the one with the people protesting right now?
No. That's the satellite. I mean, that's the telescope.
Oh.
They got to put this here. The satellite. I mean, the radar. All right. Let's tell the enemy, hey, bro, we're going to have a radar system in 5 years that'll detect anything you send to us. What are you telling them? Think about it. What do you think, Sasha?
In regards to the satellite signals?
No, what if I tell you you're Russia and I'm the United States?
Okay.
Well, I'm building a radar in Hawaii. It'll be done in 5 years. And it'll be able to detect anything coming in. What's that telling you?
Obviously, I'm going to want to build something faster than 5 years.
Right on. Don't you think, oh, well, we got a couple years to attack them before they even get their system set up?
Right.
And obviously, it's a lie. And that's what they're promoting. The HARP system is much more than that as well, and it's here in Hawaii. So, again, the lies feed people in the idea that they're getting information. No information coming out from the government is important to the human life in this realm, in this time frame. Everything the government gives us as far as information is anywhere from 25 to 50 years old. Believe me, I'm not making that up.
Yeah.
Even now, take that to the alien races out there. When Billy Myers came out with his ships and his friends, they were driving around in these weird-looking satellites with all these little buttons around it and everything else. They gave up using those ships 40 years ago.
Let me pause you there, Tommy. Tinfoil in the comment mentioned Dr. Bill Deagle. Sounds like another egomaniac. He says he's the only one with all the answers.
Well, answers to what, God?
Right.
I would say call him up and ask him what God is. Now, Eugene Braxton is online. Pull him up. He claims to be the highest top mystic on this planet. He claims he can stop time, change time, rearrange it, and do all kinds of things. Well, I challenged him. He said he would talk to me. He was friends with the original Barney case with the UFOs, the two of them that got abducted. The first UFO story that really came out. Well, he was friends with them, so that's how far back he goes. But he claims he's all this. And I challenged him already. I asked him a simple question. And think about this, people, if you have any ideas. Think about it. He claims to be this highest spiritual mystic on this planet. TJ said something, but I don't know. Basically, he's not there. He didn't try to come on. But here's the thing. I asked him a simple question. I said, do you know anything about the silver cord? Guess what he said? What do you think he said? I'll let you answer first.
I'm assuming he said there's no such thing.
No, just the opposite. He said, I'm still connected to it.
Oh, okay.
And now my debate with him is, if you're still connected to the silver cord, you can't get past the astral plane.
Right.
So you can't talk about the higher realms, so you're not as spiritual or powerful as you say you are.
So he pretty much contradicted himself right there, yeah.
That's what they all do. When they say they're spiritual, the best, the most powerful, I say I'm not spiritual. I say I'm a human person with a lot of experience. That's all. Good, bad, or indifferent, aware of all my lifetimes.
And I'm just someone who's saying I'm not spiritual. I'm on a spiritual journey who's trying to get the experience.
Well, I say the same thing. I'm on a spiritual journey. I never say I'm spiritual. I never said it. Never said it publicly. I said I'm on a spiritual quest. And the medicine woman I dealt with, she would always say a medicine person called a shaman is a person searching for the truth.
Yeah.
And that's what it means. It doesn't mean you found it. You find parts of it, and you grow from each part you find. But that if you do find that part, it makes you a better person.
Yeah.
So
unlike most people, I want to know what happens after death. I want to know where where I'm going. Most people don't. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, Teresa in the comments.
TJ came in. TJ.
She said, "I am here for you."
Thank you, TJ. Why don't you come on? You're here. I've been calling you for 2 weeks. All right. I can write in there. Hold on. Let me just. She's in there.
Yeah. She's typing away there. How? She wants to know. I'm assuming how to come on.
Oh.
Do you want to know?
I thought I sent her the right link. Hold on. I don't know how much longer I wanted to do the show, but let me just bring her on for a couple minutes. Let me.
If I could do, I do not know how.
Send me the first link I sent you, and I'll send it to her.
Okay, because she said she added the link, but apparently it didn't work. So I will go ahead and send you the link right now. Well, as soon as this loads. Okay. Oh, you're talking about the stream.
The first one I sent you that got you on.
Yep. Okay. I'm on it. Okay.
I hope you're listening, TJ. I'll get you in a second.
Sending it to you now.
Where'd Sasha go?
There you go.
Okay.
That's the StreamYard.
That was the first thing I sent you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is TJ in here?
No, I don't see anybody else.
Wait, no, that's the same link she has.
Well, then I don't.
Is that what you clicked on to come on the show? Because I sent out a second link. I said, send this out. This is the link that people can watch the show with. Hold on.
Yeah, she said. You sent me the chat. It's okay. Wait until April 3rd.
No, the link. Oh, no, that's not it. Then the first thing I sent you was. No, this is the link right here. You gave me the wrong link. Hold on.
I did?
Right now. Yep. It's. Where'd TJ go?
Why did I close?
Sorry about this, everybody. I'm just trying to bring somebody on. I didn't talk to her for a while.
You're referring to the YouTube? Because.
Oh no, that's the right link I sent you. The other one's different.
Yeah. Because the link I just sent you is the one that gets you into the room.
Right. I don't know what she's doing wrong. TJ, all I can say, whatever. You should have came up in my room because I could bring 6 people on my show. So you should be able to get in, but I don't see you in my. You got to click on that and get in it. I'll talk to you after the show. It doesn't look like it's going to happen.
I don't know. It might be different if she's on a different platform.
You're supposed to be able to get in with that link. I mean, that's what's on you. Well, no, I only send that to people I want to come on my show.
Gotcha.
Well. All right, TJ, I'm sorry you can't get in. I wish you could have. But yeah, I don't think I want to go too much further. I think we did a couple of things today. But listen to these people speaking. And I say that to a lot of people. I don't say don't listen to them. Listen to them and see what you really get out of what they say. Being one with nothingness is nothing. Becoming nothingness is nothing. To become one of a consciousness that's a universal consciousness of the universe is nothing.
Yeah.
And until you understand that, but you can keep telling yourself that it's everything. That is your choice. But in reality, imagine being one with all the problems on this planet.
Not to mention all the murderers and rapists. Why would you want to be one with those people?
Why even? And what do you think it would be beneficial for the human race? Would it help us in any way? But if you become a consciousness, you don't create things. And if you had 10 trillion people trying to decide if we should make popcorn or peanut butter, what do you think would be the decision of a consciousness? Consciousness would mean you all think together.
Right.
So you wouldn't have to think, we're just going to make peanut butter or whatever. But you're not making anything. Consciousness doesn't make anything, whether people want to understand that. God does. Consciousness doesn't.
As a side note, I couldn't remember if you went into details about the chemtrail update.
Well, I did a little. We did. I should have went into it more but I want people to go out there, start pulling up some research, pull up about it. I try to put some links up and everything on YouTube, but I know I got mine, and I listened to the whole thing, and this person came out and said his life's in danger, and he said the people he worked with would probably kill him as well. So he did it like step under another step under another step. But his stuff, what he says, is real. I know it is, and it's really important. Well, what's happening.
I keep hearing conflicted information. Like one is like Trump stopped the chemtrail program, but then
they said he was going to.
Yeah,
they said the vice president's going to stop it in a year, but that's a lie.
Yeah.
Now, what I did say, they're going to be invisible, which means you're not even going to know they're spraying chemtrails anymore. But they're creating clouds so people don't see the sky anymore. If you go out, instead of a sunny day, you see clouds, it's chemtrails creating that. Yeah. Remember, They had the ability in the 50s to do that.
Yeah. They called
Read
it
the-
cloud seeding.
Read the story of the Rain Man. Wherever he went, he could make it rain. And he had a technique and everything else that did it. He wrote a book and he was killed and all kinds of things. The book disappeared. But pull out some information, what we were doing. We were seeing clouds during the Army wars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there was always reasons, and it was never a good reason. But just think if China decides to seed our clouds with another virus, guess what would happen? United States would be dead within a year's time. So think how bad it is, and that we're doing it.
How's this coronavirus situation where you're at, Tommy?
It's starting to get into the United States, but I mean, it just hit Italy really bad,
Mm-hmm.
and it's starting to hit other countries. I mean, we're going to have to close the doors to every other country.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be able to fly out. Look at how many millions of people are quarantined and locked down and everything right now. Pull up the numbers. It's exaggerated. I mean, it's getting greater and greater every week now to multiple levels.
Well, I don't know if you've heard the director of the World Health Organization. As soon as he heard that America was, closing down for safety reasons, he said that we're xenophobes. We should keep the borders open.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Because they wanted to send Hawaii is going to be one of the places they're allowed people to come from China.
Yeah.
And they're setting up headquarters for them to be incubated and all that.
I'm like, do you guys want this to spread globally or what?
Well, no, it's what the United States did when AIDS came out. It hit the prisons in Jersey. And what they decided is everybody was dying in Jersey in the prison. So that they can't have it like one prison, everybody's dying in no other prison. So they sent half of the prisoners to all the other prisons around the United States.
Okay.
They had to keep the number of deaths equal. So again, China has the biggest deaths right now. So to make it look fair, they got to let it spread to other countries. But it's still population depletion.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it just made it to their prison. Guess what? Let's not keep our prisons anymore. Let's get rid of them. But they're not going out traveling anywhere or anything. So how did it get in there? It's a virus. It can be brought in on who knows what. And here's, I didn't want to go into it in detail, but again, what if, even if it's a cult group and two of the people are dying with the virus, right? They take their saliva and put it in a canning factory inside the canned food and then ship it to the United States. Before it becomes recognized what's affecting everybody, I mean, the person gets sick, goes to the hospital. He's already in the hospital already.
What we already know is scary enough, but even scarier are the variables that we're not even privy on. Yeah.
So yeah, we got a serious problem growing. I mean, I'm going to try to get my face masks ordered today. I know they're running out everywhere, but there's multiple face masks. Remember, depending on what kind of face mask you get, and the cheapest ones are not going to be useful at all. But if you touch the front of the face mask when you take it off, you're exposing yourself to the bacteria already.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to wash yourself, but you got to pull it off without touching it. I mean, in all these scenarios, you can't just use it again. Some people use it for 4 or 5 days. You're crazy.
Maybe under normal conditions, but this is a pandemic we're talking about here.
This is not what you want to have a cheap face mask for.
Right.
The good ones range from $40 to $100 or even more. So if you're ready to buy one and use one, I want to get one. My partner says, at least if we just go out, one of us can wear it when they go out. So think about that. It's a serious problem. It's growing. It would also protect you from chemtrails. But most people don't want to wear a face mask when they go outside.
No.
But think about it. It could help you. Could help you depending how bad this gets. If it gets real bad, it's going to be nothing anybody could ever have thought of. I mean, people thought of it, but really think of it happening is a different story.
Yeah, I finally decided to pull the trigger on active carbon, filters.
Well, like I said, think about what we talked about. Send this link to anybody you can. Tell them that we'll do any questions people want. This is where you want to hear the truth only. I don't fill it with lies. I tell the most up-to-date stories that I know around people, about myself, that are real. It's not about who you think you are. It's about what you really are. Nothing. And until you start at the bottom, you're not going to get to the top. Thinking that you're at the top, you're not going to get anywhere.
Nope.
So with that, with those words, tune in again. I'll be doing a show with Tina on this site tomorrow. We only do an hour show because we feel we don't want to make it too long. People's memory is very short. And I bet if I asked 10 people out there that listen to this how much they remember of anything I said, they'd probably say, oh, you said something about chemtrails. I mean, that's about as far as the memory is going to go. You remember, what, 5 minutes out of an hour? And that's usually a good thing for a person. But with that, it was a pleasure having you on, Sasha. To everybody out there, please send this link to everybody you can. I'm hardcore. You're not going to find anybody more hardcore than I am. But I base it on actual things that I experienced, not books, not other people's stories. So till next time, peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life, hope you get it. But work for it. Nothing comes free, nothing comes easy, ever. Remember that.
All right, Tom.
Including love. Till next time.
Thanks for having me on, and thanks for your time as well.
It was a pleasure. So with that, everybody, till next time, the man in the clouds, Tommy Hawksblood.